it's a big day in the world of litigation against gun bans, and to talk more about that here with Bishop on Air, I'm Greg Bishop, joined by Todd Vandermyde, the gun law guru. And Todd, I got to start off first by essentially correcting myself. Yesterday, I was kind of previewing what I thought was happening yesterday with the case in the Southern District of Illinois Federal Court, where I was mistaken that a status hearing was taking place yesterday, but that status hearing is actually today. But we've also got the U.S. Supreme Court taking several gun ban challenges out of Illinois and Maryland into conference. And I'm hoping that you can kind of help set all this up for us. And also, we're expecting some rulings coming out today from the U.S. Supreme Court dealing with gun laws. So welcome in. Always appreciate your knowledge. And I guess just take it away. What are we expecting to happen today from the Southern District of Illinois Federal Court all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court? Good morning.
Okay, well, first off, we have a status hearing with Judge McGlynn this afternoon to figure out how everything is proceeding in the 4 cases in Southern Illinois. So nothing overly complicated, but it's a status hearing to see how the discovery, the thing about experts is going. I noticed you said something the other day about the hundreds and hundreds of pages that the state filed. Our lawyers said that they didn't require them to file them on PACER, that they were supposed to just make the court aware and send them over to us. And we're in the process of finalizing a bunch of our stuff that we're just going to send over to them. So we have the status hearing. Now, the funny thing is the status hearing happens this afternoon. So, yes, you're right that the Supreme Court today is having their conference, and their conference is where they will start to discuss a case, and they'll take a vote possibly to sit there and see if there are 4 votes to accept the case for cert or certiorari, which is where they actually take the case and have oral arguments, briefings, and then render opinion. But before that, today at about 8 o'clock our time, so about 30 minutes from now, the court had made an announcement on Monday that they would issue 1 or more opinions. Now, by my count, in reviewing some things from the October session, there are 2 cases that have yet to be decided. From the November session, there are 2 cases that have yet to be decided. And in December, there are 4 cases yet to be decided. The interesting point of that is that in the November session, they had Rahimi, which is a case about civil domestic violence orders prohibiting individuals from owning a gun. Sorry about that.
It's going around, no sweat.
I just got a frog in my throat for now. So the question is, what opinion is the court going to issue today? It could be the triple witching hour if they were to issue, say, the opinion on Rahimi, and then they would go to conference and have a discussion possibly about our case, and they will release the outcome of the conference on Monday. And if they were to, issue an opinion in Rahimi, which there's a possibility, but there's also the school of thought that Rahimi is going to be one of these big cases, so it won't get released till the tail end of June. We've got about 45 days left in this session of the court for them to finalize their work, and I forget how many opinions are outstanding.
Well, and you'd also mentioned when we talked yesterday, I mean, there's other things that they're considering some very timely things about Trump and presidential immunity and those types of things. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the U.S. Supreme Court ultimately does with any rulings today, and then also going into conference, and we'll get more clarity on Illinois' cases, whether or not they're going to be dealt with individually or if they're going to decide to consolidate these cases, including the case out of Maryland. So today's a big day in all of this.
Well, it could be. And understand there's three things off the bat that can happen. First is they could grant cert, take the case, and we're going down that road to have our day in front of the court. They could deny us cert, which would not be good for us in general. But remember, they denied cert in Antioch, and I keep saying Scalia, but Thomas and Alito sat there and wrote a opinion saying, "Hey, don't take this the wrong way. If they continue to jerk you guys around, feel free to come back." That I think was the beginning of, since the lower courts were continuing to play games with New York, that hey, they just have a certain process in the way they like to deal with things. And remember, our cases down south are still on an interlocutory appeal, which means we don't have a final judgment. Um, Bianchi had a final judgment, was up in front of the court, was GVR'd, granted, vacated, and remanded back down to the lower court, had a hearing in front of a three-judge panel, which, for whatever reason, did not issue an opinion for 13 months. And then when everybody thought they were on the verge of issuing an opinion, the full court, the en banc court, sat there, reached out, and grabbed the case without it. And so in the Illinois briefs and Bianchi, there have been a number of references to what the lower courts are doing, in that for 13 years post McDonald, the courts just completely ignored what Heller and McDonald said in the lower courts. And now we've made that case. I think if you go back and read all those cert petitions, there have been some very bare knuckled and sharp elbows about that have been put up. So the court's well aware of how the lower courts are treating us. And so one of the other options is the case could be relisted. They could take no action. And for cases that are ultimately granted cert, it's not uncommon for cases to be relisted and pushed down the road. Now, if Rahimi does not come out today and they go to conference, it would not surprise me to see our cases relisted, and they could be waiting for Rahimi to come out. I maintain that I think Mr. Rahimi, the scumbag that he is going to lose in general on his challenge. I think that the court, if they just keep it short, then it's Rahimi loses, and it's written by some. I mean, the three judges that haven't written an opinion out of the November sitting on our side are Roberts, Alito, and Thomas. Roberts would probably go our way, but I think it would be the weakest of the three opinions. And I think Alito and Thomas would certainly write some very strong opinions in our favor. I think that when you put Rahimi on the scales while Mr. Rahimi leaves, I think we are going to come out better, for the worse for the wear of what the court is going to say. And I think that they may take this opportunity to try and say, we meant what we said in New York, or fill in the gaps on how to apply text, tradition, and history. And so I think that that is a very real possibility. So Monday, if we don't get Rahimi today, which, there's a possibility of it as I look as to what cases are still out there. But don't forget, we still have the Trump cases. We have the bump stock case with Cargill. We have the two Chevron doctrine cases that we're watching. So there's still a lot of big stuff. Now, I think the Chevron cases are more apt to be pushed to the end, as well as the abortion case. So it just depends on where we're going to fall on the court's workload on this.
So clearly, big things happening today, including 8 o'clock our time. So in a half an hour, we're going to see one or more opinions released. And if Rahimi comes out, that could add to the conversation at the status hearing in the Southern District of Illinois.
Absolutely.
And then we'll just see what happens. So, Todd, I greatly appreciate taking the time with us to kind of give us a breakdown of sorts of what to expect today. And I imagine people can check out Freedom's Steel and see some more of your thoughts. And moving forward, we'll definitely do what we can to keep people updated. Todd, we'll talk again in the near future, all right? Be safe out there.
All right, frag out.
All right, it is Todd Vandermyde. Check him out on Freedom's Steel. And you can see him on YouTube and on X as well. So make that happen. Todd, I appreciate you. All right, plenty more here with Bishop on Air. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.